everyone. Welcome to Sister Talk Time. Yes, we are very excited tonight about our guests that we have, and we thank you very much for joining us tonight via Facebook. We have a live audience tonight, so thank you, ladies, for joining us. We have the pastor suite that is here. We have Pastor Katrina, Pastor Marzell, and we will have Pastor Sherelle coming, so we will have the pastor suite in full effect, okay? Amen. But tonight we have a special guest tonight. She is a woman of God. She is married. She has 3 grandchildren, and she's very passionate about the work that she does. So I would like to introduce to you all Angela K. Baldwin. Welcome.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
So, Angela, can you tell us, you're the owner of SSIS, Sis Self-Care Isn't Selfish, right?
Yes.
I like that. I really like that. Thank you for letting us know that. Can you tell us a little bit more about yourself and about the organization and how you came about that?
Sure. Just about myself, I am really passionate about women just in general, and self-care is really, really important to me. I think more so because when the COVID hit, it's always been important. Self-care has always been important, let me say that. But when COVID hit, and I saw my daughter become a teacher and a doctor, and you know, all the women became everything but just being moms, I said something's got to be done because we're not taking care of ourselves. And we were in a position where it was harder to do it simply because we didn't have the resources available to us. And so that's why my focus and my mission is really teaching women about self-care, and teaching that it's not selfish. You can take time for yourself, and it is okay.
Thank you, thank you. Yes.
So, yeah, so that's where I got started. And go ahead, I'm sorry. No, I was just going to say, and so last year I created the SIS Expo. So SIS is SSIS, and it is SIS, Self-Care Isn't Selfish. Because everybody needs self-care, but I just need to emphasize sis.
Okay.
Ladies.
Wow. My sister.
Yes, yes.
So tell us a little bit about self-care. What does self-care involve or pertain to?
It really is taking care of yourself, and it really depends on what your needs are. As women, we have a habit of wanting to be all things to all people. Maybe not even wanting to be, but we do become that to people. And so it's just a matter, it might be a massage for somebody. It might be reading a book. It might be sitting in the car before you go into the house. It might be meditation. It might be meditation. It might be prayer. Whatever it is that you need, but you have to take that time for yourself, because the one thing I always say is that you cannot pour from an empty cup. If there's nothing in you, you can't give. So you can't be a blessing to your family and your children and, you know, others. So.
Yeah, I see that, you know, we as women, we carry a lot of weight on our shoulders. You know, we're mothers. We got to be career and family and church. We're trying to balance all of that all at the same time. What can you give us some remedy or some methods to, you know, to kind of take off that superwoman complex, if you will?
First, change your mindset. Because that is important, because we have to learn that we can't do it all. But just something as simple as just breathing, just taking time to breathe. There's a method, and if you all want to do it with me real quick, it's called the 4-7-8 method. And so we're going to deep breathe 4 in through your nose, hold it for 7, and then we're going to breathe out for 8. Okay?
Okay.
So you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. So in through your nose 4, just hold it for 7. And then breathe out for 8. And basically, you would just do that 4 times in the morning, 4 times in the afternoon. That's been known to, one, allow you to rest, but it also, for some people, it's helped just get sleep.
It does. It does. You feel that relaxation. You feel that load tend to fall off.
Absolutely.
Wow, that's good. That's really good. What have you been seeing through the kind of self-care needs that during the pandemic? Have you seen more women needing this before the pandemic or during the pandemic?
I would say my focus probably came more so during the pandemic, but it's one of those things where I had to start with me because I wasn't doing self-care well. Another good thing that I had to learn is the power of no.
Yes, yes.
Because we will say yes to everything. Do you want to do it? Can you do this? Yes. And we don't mean it, but we'll say it because for whatever reason. And so just being able to say no. And I'll give you all an example, and I think my husband will be okay with it. So Christmas, we were having one of the rooms in our house painted right before Christmas, and something happened, and the guy had to come back or whatever. And so I was like, you know what? I had a doctor's appointment. I was like, I won't go to my doctor's appointment. I'll just wait for the person to come. The next day, I got up to go to my doctor's appointment. My husband was like, I thought you weren't going. I said, I'm taking care of me. Because I would have been waiting a whole another month or so just to go and do the things that I needed to do. And so it's just a matter of figuring out what it is that you need to do. Okay. So, for example, what do you do for self-care?
That's a good question for me. I really don't. That's what I'm here to learn. What's why we here? For some self-care, I need some tips.
Because it really is different for everybody. I love a good massage. Hi.
This Pastor Sherelle has arrived.
But I love a good massage. Some people love to go get their nails, they're a mani-pedi. It just really depends on what your needs are. Yeah. And the other side of what I do is I just became, thankful, a health coach. And so learning that we know what to do. It's just a matter of doing. So
it's taking that time.
Absolutely.
You have to allow it to take that time. I guess that's what part of my problem is not taking that time. It's almost like a checklist. I got to do this, I got to do that, I got to do this, I got to do that. And not allowing that time for that self-time, even on downtime. Let me go get a manicure, or let me go get a pedicure or something. I don't personally take that time, but that's something I need to add to my list to do.
I was just gonna say, so if you already create lists, put it in your list, put it in your calendar, so that way this time is for me.
Yeah, for me time.
Yeah, that's a good point, to add yourself to your calendar, and that's something we don't ever do. Yeah. I mean, we have that little break. We say, we got that little break. We can run here, run there.
Find everything to do, but
everything else to do, then it'll come down. Yep.
So
on piggybacking on that, what are some other barriers to exercising self-care? I know for me, sometimes it's just guilt and shame. Sometimes, depending on how you've grown up, and in families, sometimes in black families, there's a codependence. So it's like, well, if we're all doing good, you got to keep it together. So how do you deal with that? that guilt and shame and pressure that sometimes comes with, well, you're doing better than me. So what do you really need to take care of?
See,
Where do we start?
I think for that, it really just goes back to the power of no, because we have to step out of feeling guilty, because the guilt is not really something somebody else is putting on it. We're putting it on ourselves. And so we have to step out of that and say, okay, I can do this, and just take one step at a time. It doesn't have to be, okay, I'm going to spend a whole weekend away. It can just be, I'm taking 20 minutes, I'm going to the beach for a walk or something, whatever it is that you need to do that pulls you out of that, because you have to get past being concerned about what people think, because that is definitely a deterrent to self-care, because we're so focused on everybody else, so we're doing for everybody else. And sometimes those people don't always appreciate it. It's just an expectation that we allow people to put on us, but it's just taking that time and saying, okay, I'm going to step back and do what I need to do, and not be worried about what other people think or what they're going to say.
Wow, so I just have I guess it is a simple question, Miss Angela. Because this goes way back. You and your husband has always been in some type of business avenue in the kingdom, and it's always been that touch of helping. I mean, you helped out with the youth, is where I know it from, even way back with your husband. I was in his youth ministry. When it wasn't even considered to be youth ministry back then. He did youth things. Then you guys linked up, and it magnitude. So then it went from that, you guys were still in that vein with the children, and then it blossomed to all of the arts that Sister Angela operates in, you guys. I mean, my God, today. Everything that has to deal with the total man, and then even with the clothes and the things of that nature, launching businesses and all of that. So then you went from that, and then don't let me forget, y'all even had ministry as far as helping couples. Wow. Couples that had damaged areas in their ministry. So God has always birthed you all. And when you two linked up together, it magnified. So in the midst of that, I believe it started back then, it became the inkling to narrow it down to this, which is full-blown you. I mean, even working, this is full-blown her. It's full-blown her. And then what I love about it, your husband fully supports you with that. And so how long has this really been? Because I don't think this has started. I think in your bio it said 2021. I said, hogwash. Hogwash. That didn't start in 2021. They've been doing all this for centuries. But when did it narrow it? I was in your husband. Look, I was in your husband youth ministry. I was a youth leader with him. When it wasn't even youth ministry, I was back then a leader, and he always put me in the front. Here, Sherelle, go take this, go carry this. And I was the scary one. But, you know, he had, you know, a hand in that. Then when you guys linked up together, it just blossomed. You did more of that. So I just don't believe this just started in 2021. 2021 was probably one of your first meetings.
So this is what I will say, and this is the honest to goodness truth. We were always busy. We were always busy. But it took until last year for God to show me my purpose. I have lots of gifts. I fully embrace and understand that. But last year is when God showed me, this is your purpose. It's like all the things that I've been doing, all the jobs that I'd had, all the different ministries that I had been in, and I started seeing the pieces fall together. When I started God's Essence, which is my Aroma Therapy company, I started that as just some background. My husband was in a car accident. The medicine that they were giving him was making him really loopy. And so I started researching, like, what can we do for pain? Because he doesn't like taking medicine, neither do I. Found an essential oil, found out that it worked. I said,
Oh, wow.
Started doing more research, so then I started making products. My products are not because they smell good, even though they do. It's not that. It's more because of what they do. They support healing. So that's how that started. That was 2018.
Okay.
2021, that's when SIS evolved. SIS, self-care isn't selfish. It's a whole, we got to focus on self-care. And then just this year, I got my health coaching license. And so now my company is the Healthy Sis Group. And it's a triune, that's what I call it because I love God. It's a triune of 3 businesses that are focused on self-care, and my specific focus is now just on women.
Wow.
So I understand my capabilities. I know what God has given me, and I'm thankful, but this is where he has me now, to focus strictly on women. And I'll tell you another thing. Self-care right now is big business, like $1 billion business.
Yes, it is.
But guess what? For a lot of people, a lot of companies, it's a fad. So long after the fad is over, long after people stop making candles that say self-care and all of that, the Healthy Sis will still be around because women will always need to focus on self-care. And that's what's really important to me.
Yes.
So the Aroma Therapy that you launched it, and so you have a website that people can go to and purchase your therapy. Aroma
Technically, yes, but I want to explain. So because the Healthy Sis has now become the overarching company for all 3, I'm working with a branding person who is helping me to rebrand the entire thing so that it makes sense. It's not just Aroma Therapy over here and all of that over there. You all have bags that have a little bit of something in it.
Oh, well, thank you. Can't wait. Thank you.
So in the beginning of June, you'll see the company, the website fully launched for everything because I'm rebranding and everything. Yeah,
that's
very
awesome.
beginning of June.
So you talk about self-care as a fad. So what, in your opinion, is the fad of it all? What is it that most businesses or companies are not getting? What will fade away?
So I use the example of all natural when you go in
Okay.
the store and buy food. Everything has become all natural,
Yes.
when in reality it's not. If you actually read the ingredients, unless it has just an apple or just something in it, it's not all natural.
Right.
And that's the way that I think about. That's what I think of when I think of self-care. Everybody's talking about it because we just came out of COVID. And
That's
everybody's
true.
like, you know what I'm saying? Everybody's just like, okay, we got to do mental health issues have been around forever. Guess what's big? What people are talking about now? Mental health, right?
It's huge.
But it's been around. There has not been, a time when we didn't have people that had mental health issues.
Yeah,
And so
yeah.
that's why I think that for the time being, this is what people are going to talk about. They're going to make the money. They're going to move forward.
Yes.
Whereas, as a woman who did not practice self-care until last year, for real, I think that it's going to be a continual thing. And realistically, my goal is, my hope and prayer is, going back to the youth, that I'll be able to go into schools or churches and work with the teen girls, so they don't have on self-care, so they don't become women who struggle with self-care later on.
Yes.
Exactly.
That's really what I'm seeing for the future. So it's not just going to stop with, okay, buy a couple of this, do a little bit of that, we're going to talk about this. It's really going to be something that I just really believe God has just told me this is it.
So let me help you with that too, with the because what I see, she says she see, I see too. So so when you said with the youth, and even with the girls, and it does very key and important for them to start at that adolescence, fifth, sixth, fifth, sixth, seventh, and eighth, but more like that fifth, sixth, and seventh. And starting camps, like camps, yes,
Sis groups, but I'll take camps.
yes, doing like the camps. I mean, you don't have to keep them overnight, because of the way things are, and then you have to get the approval and things of that nature. But they can come and stay a certain amount of hours because of the information and then the presentation that you will have to give them and teaching them. Because now, especially with the dispensation that we're in, that all of you guys know about, a lot of parents out there, and we're finding more men that is parenting their young girls, and they don't know what to do, because even with me working in the schools, and then certain girls is going through changes, the father calling, this happened today, I don't know what to do, what kind of pads to get, what kind of this, and that man is in distress. And so with the things that you are teaching, and then especially at that age, they will have it then. And then as they become mothers and married and everything is already built in as a self-respect, instead of being married, and then you have children and things of that nature, and you try to put it in, and then you feel guilty. So then a lot of times we as adults that got all them hats, you neglect yourself.
Absolutely.
So right now, with people like our age, you're doing damage control. Right now, you have to reprogram and teach them the importance of why we need to take care of ourselves, because we wear so many hats and so much is on our shoulders. I mean, that's youthabomb.com. and then especially starting at that age, that's so key and so important. So. Oh, you're right, prophetess, but we will be praying with you regarding this, because it's so needed.
I agree. I definitely agree.
Yeah, I was going to tag in too with Pastor Sherelle was saying that, at that certain time where girls need to understand what is going on with their body, and they also dealing with a lot of mental stress in the school, and everything that's going on in their life. So yeah, that balance is what they really need right now. And just kind of switch gears with the women too. We deal with a lot of stress, a lot of emotional, a lot of mental things that go on from day to day. What kind of self-care can you tell women or where can they go, or what can they do in order to deal with some of that stress and some of that, how to break that? And
So I will share, depending on what's causing the stress, and being very transparent. Last year I was in therapy. Because sometimes you have to be able to talk things out. You have to get it out. You have to figure out what's going on.
That's
Yes.
right.
Because I was a mom a month after I turned 15. So self-care, taking care of a child, going to school, going to work, doing all of that. So that's all I've known. That's all I've known. Work, do what you have to do. So it really depends. But I think therapy is important. I know that especially in, people of color, that has not been our first go-to because, what's done at home stays at home kind of thing.
Yeah.
But guess what? It's a whole lot of stuff that happened at home that
Amen to
right,
that.
stay at home.
Amen to
And
that.
people grow up with those things on, in them and just don't move forward. So, it's hard to say what exactly someone needs to do, and that's what I love about the health coaching aspect, because a lot of times we focus on the focus is eating right and exercising.
Yeah.
But guess what? There's a lot of things that keep people from doing what they need to do because of what they're carrying. So it's just really important to figure that out.
So is that a group session that you have as the coach? Is that a group that you hold for that?
I'm so glad you asked me. So I do individual counseling, but starting in May 12th, I'm going to be doing group sessions. It's called Shades of Self-Care. It's going to be at Hero Marketplace. It'll be up on I have a Facebook page. The information will be up on there tomorrow. But that's one of the things I want to do, because I think it's amazing when you have the fellowship of women,
Yes,
because
yes.
when we get together,
You're not alone.
Exactly,
You're not
exactly.
alone.
And you realize that that what you're dealing with, there's going to be other people that have been dealing with it too. So,
And it makes it easier to break through
absolutely,
all of that.
absolutely.
Yeah.
You were talking about earlier about self-care being, a big business. And how do you partner the healthy aspect of self-care? Because sometimes products are marketed like, oh, this is for your benefit. This is, something great for you. But maybe, like you said, it's not natural or it's expensive. And then you have young people gravitate and they feel that if I buy this product, this is actually taking care of myself, but it may not. So how do you partner healthy self-care?
So for me, my word for this year is authenticity, because everything else will fade. Like the fad, it'll fade. But when I talk to my clients right now, I'm very open, I'm very authentic. I share with them exactly what, I partner with them in the sense of holding them accountable and helping them to be accountable for the things that they're doing. In terms of products in and of itself, for me, I haven't figured that part out, how to, balance my products with this. If people want to have, smooth skin and, for example, one of my products, it helps to support eczema, so it stops the itch so that your skin can clear up, that kind of stuff. That's an easy sell. But if we're talking about just coaching and just really helping someone get to a place where they can be healthy, where, they're not, their weight is not an issue and those kind of things, that's just really more conversation than the actual coaching itself. And then, by way of coming to the CIS Expo, which will be September 17th this year, which you will have an opportunity to purchase my products and other products. You'll have an opportunity to hear other people talk about different levels of self-care, whether it be financial, personal, spiritual, physical, etc. So it's all working together. I'm just getting, like I said, it's my triangle, just pulling it all together and really just trying to make it so that no matter what area someone needs, prayerfully, it'll be in the Healthy Sis house.
Oh, wow.
That's really awesome. The expo. How did you? I know the mayor back in 2021 and gave you a certain day, a proclamation for that. Can you tell us about that?
Yes.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I would say what is so amazing is that the CIS Expo and the experience was literally a true walk with God. And I say that because it literally was just me. I didn't ask for help because God has been calling me to fully trust him, because I have been transparency. God, here's the big stuff. I'll take the little stuff. I got this over here, but you can handle the big stuff. And I had no choice. It literally was just me and him. So reaching out to different people like Mayor Taylor, and asking her, it was just, okay, God, if this is what it's supposed to be. So amazing. And I had an opportunity. I hadn't spoken with her yet. I spoke with her for the first time, like literally conversation for the first time about 3 weeks ago. We were at the same restaurant and we talked for about 45 minutes. But yeah, I mean, everything and everyone that was supposed to be a part of the event was, including Prophetess Taylor. It was awesome. So,
Wow. We'd like the ladies in the audience, if you have any questions, you can ask as well. And we'd like to invite you to ask questions too. So with the expo, what was did you know it was going to turn out that big, or what was your thought or your vision with this?
So I expected to have vendors. I expected to have speakers. I expected to have entertainment. And I had all of that. But we had over 60 vendors. Wow. We had, it was amazing. We had different sessions on different areas of self-care, and they were really good. We had entertainment. We brought in a couple people. Mackenzie, she was from The Voice. We brought her in. We brought in For Washington. I found them on Instagram. Amazing young people, amazing voices, just a cappella, just a blessing. But we also had local people just doing different things. We have Kay Smith. She did poetry. She writes books, and she ended up doing comedy that later that night. All around amazing woman. And the thing is, for the most part, it was all women doing things. We had a few male vendors, but they had things. But it was just amazing to see women coming together to do things for women, and that's what was really important to me.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah, the bonding of one another, and just getting that therapy or that maintenance that you need for yourself. We all have to do maintenance, some kind of shape or another.
All the time.
Retail therapy that day.
Retail therapy.
So how deep does it go, as far as, because I know you touched on the mental aspect, and are there doctors and stuff that's there that deals with the psyche and the mental aspect? When you're, especially, I'm not a coach, but I'm pretty sure as you're coaching and you get to a certain level, it's okay, this person may need, maybe this, or need a little bit more. How do you deal with that? Or when you come to that, how do you handle that?
So if someone, let's say, is dealing with deep depression, that's out of my range of things to do. And I would just refer them to a doctor. The good thing is that I have the opportunity to partner with doctors. So sometimes
awesome.
If I saw something, if I was partnering with a doctor and I saw something, then I could say, hey, this person, you need to speak to your doctor about this.
Okay.
Because I'm not no medical background whatsoever, but really just an opportunity to help women. As a coach, I haven't experienced this as a coach, but I know people that have. We've seen people who have had cancer change their eating, and they're cancer-free. Not remission.
Amen.
They are cancer-free.
Amen.
We have seen people come off of medicine, blood pressure. One of my professors, the doctor told her that she had thyroid issues, and the doctor told her that she would be on this medicine for the rest of her life.
That's what they say.
She said, "Oh no, I won't." And 2 years later, she was fully off. The doctor couldn't even believe it. So I personally believe, this is my own disclaimer, that medicine is big business.
Yes, it is.
And I also believe that a cure for cancer has already been out there, but I think because there's so much money out there for it, I think that, that's part of the reason. I know that people have it, don't get me wrong. I know that medicine is needed for it, but by the same token, I believe that God equipped us with everything that we needed.
Yes.
And so because of that, I think that there's a lot of things that could be cured that we haven't heard about. So I think pharmacy is big business.
Oh, yes, it is.
Yeah, definitely.
No, but you were talking about the whole self. You want women to be their whole self, and so one of the aspects that Pastor Sherelle mentioned about mental. What are some other things, like, is it financial? Is it?
Oh my goodness, yes. So there's finance, there's joy, there's spiritual, there's home environment. There's home cooking. Do you cook or do you eat out? There's you can eat out a little bit.
You're not asking us, are you?
It's your career. Like, are you happy in your career?
No. I feel like she's talking to me.
But can I tell you something?
Please.
I'm actually sharing this in a couple of weeks at another event that I'm going to be at. But did you know that job stress is actually recognized by the World Health Organization as a disease?
What?
Really?
I believe
Oh
it.
my God. And how long this has been
I believe
declared?
It's been out there for a while. It's not a medical disease, but literally, it's literally
that's
job stress
something.
is a disease.
The stress and anxiety.
So think about it. If you're stressed all the time, so as a coach, you're always stressed, whether it be your job, whether it be your relationships, whether it be your joy, whatever. You're stressed all the time. Then will you eat right?
No.
Okay. Will you exercise right?
No.
Exactly.
How about exercise, period?
That too. But that's my point. It's like, so once you get to what's going on with somebody, that's when you can help them get to. We know how to eat right. You know, feed your fruit and veggies. You cut the sugar. And do all that. You know what to do. You know how to exercise, right? We did it in school. We know how to exercise.
Right.
We know we need to drink water, right? We know what we need to do. So as a coach, I'm just there to help you be accountable. What is she not doing?
I'm sorry. She got a full-blown coach at the house. He used to coach us downstairs.
Do I use him as a coach? No, I do not.
That's what she's trying to keep her relationship.
My husband, he's not a coach.
That's wisdom, Pastor Katrina. At home, he's the husband, not a coach.
But that's the reality of things. So we know what we need to do. So as a coach, I just come in and help you to make transformation based on what's going on. That's the gist of it.
I need to sit at your feet. Not at the table, one person away.
So I guess the first thing is the recognition, to be able to acknowledge what the problem.
The revelator.
What if it's all the above?
But not just recognizing, also knowing how to deal with it, because
Amen.
everybody's not able to deal with it right.
That's true.
Yeah, because we probably won't ever be able to have a stress-free, I know people say that, stress-free life. I mean, it would be nice. You do, you strive for it, but there's always some stressors out there. You just watch TV and the news and you get stressed, right? So, to have a stress-free life is definitely something we strive for. But I don't know if we'll ever have that. And I think sometimes that's the stress. Like, am I going to have a stress-free life? I just don't know.
When is it going to kick in? So if we have any questions from the audience?
You can live stress-free.
Okay. Well, just you telling me that. Thank you. Thank you.
You have any remedies on that?
Yes. So just think about this. Can joy and stress live together?
No.
Okay. Can you be joyful and be walking around mad all day?
No. Well, that's a maniac. Laughing at one moment and then he didn't mad.
Right. But that's the thing. What you find out what brings you joy. I mean, that kind of boils down. Find out what brings you joy.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then gravitate towards that.
So even those moments with, like Pastor Katrina was saying, easy brought on stress. You watch the news, you get stressed out because of that. And then,
Yes.
but,
Right.
but my point is, like, after that, it's not something you always have to deal with. You aware of it, but then that's easily gone. Besides, like, for instance, like my job, I come home, this is my moment, prophetess. I come home, Yes, yes, I do. Even though they don't supply all the needs, but no, just easily saying, you know, you go home and you like, man, it was a hard day, but then you go to sleep and you like, man, I gotta go back again. And so that's stress you can't get rid of until you change that whole situation.
But here's the thing. What are you doing to change that situation? Are you focused on, I don't want to go back, or are you focused on, okay, let me look at the next steps I can do to either move on or make it better?
Exactly. And that's exactly, you know, what's going on. You know, you think of some different things that can happen in that environment, and you hope that different people or receive things, and even if they don't, it's blood off your hands, and and you continue on. I mean, I guess that's the relief I get in that.
This is what I will say, and this is just you know, we all went through COVID, and some people took a lot of losses.
That's
and
true.
one thing that I think I really try to operate, and I'm not perfect at it, but you know, my mom always says tomorrow is not promised.
Right.
So at the end of the day, like, what is it that you really want to be doing, or what is it that you really need, or what is it that you really need to focus on? Because, I mean, realistically, I won't talk about Pastor Sherrill's job. Those that have jobs that they don't like, if you fell off the edge of the world tomorrow, I promise you the job is going to go on. So
That's amen to that.
That is
That's so true.
that is
Gotta
so
self-care.
yeah,
SSI.
SSIS.
SSIS. See, I still miss that S.
Well, still staying on the job topic. I was in a job that was brutal, just mentally, emotionally, and, you know, long hours, you know, exhausting, bad management, the whole ball of wax. And I'm just one of those people that, even if it's bad, I'm just working hard and working hard and working hard. But it got to a certain point where I had some health issues. And because, like you said, you don't eat right. So, you know, I could go a whole day and not eat anything. And then when I would eat, I'm running to the vending machine, getting chips and soda. And that's not good for you. So it got to a certain point where it was just like, I can't stay here. I have to get out of here. Because, like I said, they're not going to recognize your worth as a person. So I have to leave. And then I transferred to another department. And then it was like, okay, where there was darkness over there, it was just like light and joy and peace, and I'm happy. You getting paid more. You're like, this is wonderful.
That's real. That's real.
But I had to leave that job so I could experience that. And then because I have more time, I can do more things to take care of myself.
Wow.
And I get a little bit more money. So I
go
can take care of myself.
You go past.
Go on a cruise. That's
Yeah,
self-care.
cruises.
Yes.
But that's good. But what took you so long?
Oh, we. Did y'all hear that? She smiled and said, but what took you so long?
What took me so long was because sometimes you get in this whole habit of, I just got to do it. If I keep on doing this, then it'll get better and get better. And then when I recognize, oh no, this is not going to get better, because if I stay here, I'm going to hurt somebody. So I have to go.
See how she changed?
I have to leave this place so all people can stay alive. See, I'm going to be fine. But see, they not going to be all right. So I have to go.
Yeah.
So when there's a chance of harm to others, then I got to go.
All right, Pastor.
Okay.
Don't hurt them now.
Recognize before
Thank you for recognizing.
Please, thank you.
Got to tell Pastor Riley, make sure he do his part in the finances in that back. We may not see him come out.
Pastor Marcel is on the edge.
Oh my goodness.
Well, then that's another thing. In regards, but you know what? Is the fact of joy that you were speaking of, and laughter, and then being able to communicate. I mean, I think that has been one thing I think for me personally is to be able to communicate when things are stressing me, so that it's recognized, or you tell your husband, this is stressing me, so he'll at least understand some cues that like let's not talk about finances right now. When I walk through the door, ding ding, that's going to stress me out. So I mean, it's just the communication, so that he knows, give me some time to settle down before we had this conversation. So communication is also what I was trying to say. Is communication is also a part of self-care. Being able to just say, even if you don't understand why it's bothering you or why you feel the way that you do, just being able to have that accountability to someone and say, this is kind of pushing me a little bit. Let's, either not talk about it, or, when it comes up, kind of step away. Yeah. So, and then you feel like you give yourself permission to, know when that happens and know what you need to do to.
That's what I was going to say. So let's say that you've given all the cues, but it still comes to you. So
I didn't say they listen. I say you communicate.
How do you handle that? Because that's where the self-care comes in. Because stuff is still going to come at you. It's not going to stop just because you said, okay, I'm in self-care mode. It's not going to stop. So that's figuring out how to handle that when it doesn't go the way that you want it to go. That's when you really
I say, give me a moment. Yes, I do. I say, give me a moment. And then you just walk away, and then they get it then.
Okay.
Just give me a moment. And you walk away. Yeah, I'm not gonna talk about that right now.
Well, this is good therapy for me, right?
You helping us tonight?
Yes, you're really helping us. Thank you very much.
Oh, man.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, you're first.
Right.
Yes. Just the talking and the laughing can really release a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety, and everything else that's going on that had went on the day earlier. You didn't want to have to take anybody out.
Right. That's funny. You look quiet.
Ooh, this is quiet storm.
Still waters run deep.
Okay, got it now.
Prophetess has a question.
It has a lot to do, this time that we're in right now, it has a lot to do with the pandemic being shut in.
Yes.
And I think that people, like you say, spouse or whatever, they don't realize, or people don't realize that
The self-care part of this, in the pandemic has affected everyone.
Yes.
It was not that I had mental illness in my family, so you got mental illness. No, the shutdown caused all of us to try to adjust to something that we were not familiar with. We were not familiar with masks on. We were not familiar with not being able to talk to you face to face and to hug you and to laugh. We were not familiar with not going in the store, or the kids can't go to school, all that. So self-care comes in, as Pastor Katrina said, you have to take control of your own self and say to your own self, let me just let you know this. We're not going to talk about that right now. Give me a moment. Or let's reverse it. Will you stop watching TVs and talk to me? You see what I'm saying? When I need to talk, I'm not going to go out and get a boyfriend. And I need for you to be the pastor right now to me, or just be my husband. So all of this affected us. But when we have those moments, when your husband have a moment, you need to listen to him. When you have a moment, and I have a moment, he needs to listen to me. When I come to church, all of y'all need to shut up and just be quiet and do what you need, Jackie. So, and be what you're supposed to be when you're supposed to be here, Jackie. And let somebody know when you're not going to be here, Jackie. So all, but this is a part of self-care. I had to say to myself when the shutdown came,
as being a pastor and a people person, I remember sitting at the table and I said, Lord, you know, you call me to people and now I'm not going to be able to be with people. God said, okay, you got to adjust just like everybody else. Like you said, you have to take control of your own life, you know. So it's all of this now and this self-care, and I'm giving this back to you all. But I just want Sister Angie to know that when she, in 2021, when she did her opening for Sister Self-Care, I was there. I was there at 8 o'clock in the morning.
Yes, she was.
I left about close to 3 o'clock, and I did not want to leave because simply, out of all of those women that you had there, I only knew about 20 women there. So you had a lot of people there that's out there that when I went to those almost 60 tables that were there, all of those women had gotten their specialties. They wrote books. During the pandemic, they made hair products, skin products. They painted. They did all kinds of things. And so just by me going to each table, I got so juiced until when I went to one of the sisters walked me to the car because I was like, you know, I didn't even know how to get to my car. She said, Pastor Barbara, let me help you. So I went to my car. I sat there for about 10 minutes. And when I sat there, women were still coming in. Wow. So just by you doing what you did, it opened up a door. I had $200. I got so many bracelets, I gave them out after because these people made these bracelets and they were so special. They told me how they made them. They told me why they made them, and they was just so wonderfully full of energy. They were glad to be there. And you left out this part. She even had a part where she closed down the vendor. She had a room of prayer. And the music in that room, we didn't have to say anything. Just the music, that which her husband produced, I'm sure. He was there. The music and the atmosphere. The women were in there. They were just like this. They were crying. So you had everything. I wish I didn't have another appointment because I would have been there till 9 o'clock. But it was amazing. So this what you're doing now, adding to with the counseling. See, what we fail to realize as women, we fail to realize we need to express ourselves.
Yes.
We need to come out of the closet and fix ourselves first.
Transparently, though, not just because we can express ourselves in all kinds of ways.
Right.
Be transparent, be willing to be transparent.
Right.
We're always nervous about what somebody's going to think.
Yes.
What somebody's going to say.
Yes. So that was good for me because I was getting panicky when that first happened. I was getting panicky. I didn't know what to do, so God began to give me things to do, and I had to. My husband and I had to readjust, you know. So again, I had to say, look, I need somebody to talk to. Please turn the TV off, you know, because he was TV and books. He was well adjusted to that, but I said, I'm in this house all day with you, and you. This is fine for you, but it's not for me. You know, so it's not for me. So the shut-in brought out a lot of things about myself and things that I had to adjust to. And so when you say therapy, therapy is...
One, two.
Huh, Apostle?
I'm trying to get you a mic.
Oh, therapy, see? Therapy is good. It's good when you find yourself feeling strange. Let's say that. Yes. When you find yourself feeling indifferent than what you can't sleep. You know, nothing is satisfying in the house. I want to do something. I want to walk. And then fear comes. You need to talk to somebody. A therapist. And you might need some meds. 10 mLs. 10 mLs because listen at this. I had a psychiatrist to tell me, I didn't go to him, but I was going for someone else. The psychiatrist said, I take this same pill, 10 mLs. That's what he said. Because they deal with stuff themselves. Doctors deal with stuff themselves, you know. So here, thank you, Pastor Katrina.
So you got to make sure he took his medicine before you see him.
Right.
10 milligrams off. Yeah, MLs, 10 MLs are not bad.
But the other thing I want to add too is we were still in, I can't speak for everybody, but in situations where it may have just been, okay, he's watching the TV, but you also, a lot of what came out during COVID too was a lot of domestic abuse.
Yes.
So it's like everybody's not used to being confined with someone on 24/7.
Right.
And so it brought out a lot of that. So I think about the women, because I invited women from different safe place and places like that to come to the event as well. So, because you just never know what anybody's dealing with.
Yeah.
Do you ever go out to like the shelters that may need that? Is that one of the things that you may put on your vision board?
Very possible. I did, not as a coach, when I was doing, for God's Essence, I was invited out to one of the shelters just to come and talk to women. And actually, yes, I've done that, not as a coach. But I have some events that are coming up that I've been invited to that I'll be talking to different women in different circumstances.
Yeah. Wow, that is awesome.
Yeah.
I want to go. Can you explain when you was answering as Prophetess was talking, and you said, but being transparent itself. Can you explain that?
Oh, absolutely. Because a lot of times I don't want anybody to know what I'm going through. Because I might be the only one going through it. So I can't tell you because, unfortunately, there are some catty women. And you take your stuff and run with it, whether it be truth or not, whether it be accurate or not. And so I don't know that I want anybody to know anything about me because you might say something or you might talk about me or you might tell somebody kind of thing. So if women can get together and be transparent and open and not feel afraid of sharing, then it makes a huge difference. I think November. The original Facebook page I had for the cis group, I had asked women if they would be part of a challenge with me. Okay. And there ended up being, there's 7 of us in total that came, every week we were meeting for 10 weeks. Oh. And what started off as, I just wanted to be able to do a burpee by the end of our meeting. Literally, I just wanted to be able to do a burpee because I haven't been able to do one in a while. And I'm getting there though. But every week we met and it was amazing. And all of the goals that because we all set goals and all of the goals that we initially set, by the end of the 10 weeks, we had reached different goals that we hadn't even thought about. And I had told the ladies, I was like, I can't keep this up. We were doing a Zoom every week for an hour. I was like, I can't keep it up. And they didn't want to stop. So we literally meet once a month now, the same 7 women that we started with. Wow. So these are women that, there's only 2 of them that I knew really well. So we all talk, and it's like, we love getting together simply, and it's over Zoom still, but we love getting together because it's a safe space. It's a safe space, and I think that's what we as women sometimes need. We just need a safe space. I need to know that I can come and talk to you all, and what I tell you all, good, bad, ugly, will stay here. Right. And you'll be praying about it, or you'll give me some ideas or thoughts on what I need to do, those kind of things. I don't need somebody that, okay, when I leave, she gonna go tell somebody. She gonna tell somebody, and it's gonna be a whole different story, and I'm just gonna be, out.
So is it safe to say, to have that total complete healthiness about, oneself, that person or people always do need, as God has made us, as creatures where we supposed to have friends and to fellowship and things of that nature. So that's actually needed.
Oh, absolutely.
It's not questionable.
Absolutely. You can't be you can isolate, but how is that going to help you?
Exactly.
Because isolation is really just fear. You're in a space where it's like, I can't, if I say this, if I do that, you can't be isolated. You have to have somebody else. Wow. That's why God gave Adam Eve.
That's it.
That's it. Right. That's it.
So it doesn't have to be, a whole group of people. It could just be one person.
Yes.
Absolutely.
You don't need a whole group to talk to. You just need that one person to vent and just to be able to talk to and release that out. And just a listening ear, because sometimes you don't have that listening ear. I mean, they could be listening, but they're not.
Absolutely.
But they're not listening.
That's true.
But it also creates a level of accountability to someone as well. And so that's what helps as well. If I'm trying to lose weight, right? As much as I know my husband loves me, he will bring a cookie home. And that is not a support for me, right? But if I tell you, Pastor Sharon, if you're my accountability girl, you know you shouldn't have a cookie. You know you trying to lose weight, you're trying to get summer body fine, because I am.
Summer body fine. She got these acronyms.
But I mean, that's much different, right? So, yeah.
Wow. Good.
Yeah, you need that support system.
Absolutely.
And I like what you said about the goals. You know, that's something that we should, as women as well, place on our calendar as a goal to reach for that month.
Yeah.
You know, it should be a different goal every month of what you're going to reach. So it feels like you're doing something, you're reaching something, you're going somewhere.
Absolutely.
Well, she's back at the scriptures. A man without a vision will perish.
Yeah. That's good.
That's real.
That's awesome. Wow, we had a great conversation. Good laughs.
Is it gone for real?
Let's see here.
Yeah.
Because she just ended it. Well, we had a great conversation.
We had a good therapy session.
We did. All of us that got a therapy session.
Do we need to send you a bill?
This was good. This is good for me too.
We really enjoyed having you here tonight. You really shared a lot of information. You helped a lot of us here, and hopefully you helped some people in Facebook land. And thank you, ladies, for joining us here tonight. And we're going to have a great talk for next month. We have Pastor Marzell, who's going to be hosting for next month. Do we have anything exciting going on?
She looks surprised.
Well, we're always. Just know that we're going to have something exciting and wonderful and intriguing for next month.
We do. We're going to have, what's her name? Alderman Sylvia Bolton. She's going to talk about mental illness. Yeah. And then the next month we're going to have Sister Mary Robertson. She's going to talk about mental illness as well. So we're going to have 2 sessions of mental illness. Amen. And like, as Angie has said, mental illness is a big thing now.
Yes,
And
it
it's
is.
not, especially even with our children, you know, having to go to school at home, and that whole thing is just worldwide, you know. Like, I hate to say it, you know, you might get a smack when you get an award.
You're not giving out no awards in September, are you?
I am. Well, thank you all so much. This has been a lot of fun.
Well, we're definitely going to have you come back because we need another therapy session.
Yes.
Sister Angie may bring you all to a group therapy so y'all can crack some jokes. And
No, this has been
And
good.
you said that your website is coming out tomorrow?
No, June. It'll
In
be up
June.
Because
Okay.
it'll combine everything in one. So
Okay,
have
so
somebody work on
if
it.
someone wants to know what's going on with you,
So you can go to my Facebook page, which is the Healthy Sis Group. I have an Instagram page, but I'm not on that as much. But Facebook, you'll see everything that's going on.
Okay.
So I have quite a few events that are coming up. Can I share? Real quick?
sure.
Yes, you
Please.
oh, yeah.
Let's see. On April 30th, I'll be at, it's now the Patricia Jones Center, the old
Yep.
Park Place.
Yes.
We're doing a prioritizing youth for women, for moms. So please, from 10 to noon. So please feel free to come out to that. It's a free event. First 100 moms that sign up will get a prize, a gift, raffle, I think. On May 4, I'm trying to get the day straight, May 6th, Trinity Christian Center is holding a Mother's Day event at Violet Creations in Zion. That's going to be a blast. I'm just telling you because myself and Tia Wilson will be doing a self-care talk by music. So it's going to be interesting. So feel free to come to that. They have a lot of stuff going on, but that's Tia and I are going to be doing that.
What time is that one?
It starts at 6 o'clock.
6.
And these are all the flyers are on my page too, so you can see that. May 14th, I'll be doing a short speaking session at it's for Generational Blessings. John C. St. Cloud is hosting that.
Oh, yeah.
And so
okay.
that's going to be at the Round Lake Cultural Center.
Yes.
And that starts at 10. And then I know there's another one that I'm missing, and I'm going to get in trouble. Oh, no, it was this one. This is 4. I have 4.
Yeah.
And Shades of Self-Care starts on May 12th. It'll be at Hero Marketplace down in Waukegan. On, I don't know what street it is, Genesee, I think it is. But that flyer is going up. You'll see everything tomorrow on the page.
Okay.
And then the CIS Expo is September 17th.
Yeah.
Hold that date.
Yeah.
It's going to be in Round Lake this year at the Cultural Center.
Okay.
We have a lot of goodies happening. And on the 18th, it was originally going to be on that Friday, but because I didn't want to stress women out, we are having an awards dinner ceremony and a play.
Wow.
So, and it's about self-care. So,
Oh, wow.
yeah, so that's going to be the experience day.
Those
So,
arts.
yeah.
Oh, you got a full calendar going on
I'm
this year.
excited about it, though. I'm so excited. So,
Wow.
yeah.
Amen.
So, thank you all.
Very nice.
Yeah, well, thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for coming
So
and telling
humble.
us about self-care. We will be able to start applying some of this
Yes.
to ourselves.
Yes, we will. Right. Yes, yes. Awesome.
Okay, thank you all for joining us tonight. You have a good night and be blessed.
Amen. Great. Nice, nice, nice.